All right, guys. My name is Dan Mirdo, and I'm located in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. And just want to take a few minutes tonight and just tell you who the Alliance is, kind of what we do, how we do it, and just see if it's a good fit for you guys. So as you can see on the screen, our motto is have fun, make money, make a difference. And that's what we do. And we put it in that order specifically, just because first thing is we're going to have fun. We're going to, as you're around the team, as you are, with the group, if we're not having fun, then we shouldn't be there. Right. Make money. Obviously the insurance industry is one of the most lucrative industries in the world. So there's plenty of money. And then obviously make a difference. Right. So what we're doing with our clients and how we're interacting with them and just setting them up and leaving them in a better place than when we found them. That's how we make a difference. And, as you guys stick with us, as you meet the leadership we have, starting with Andy Albright, Adam Katz, as soon as you hear Andy talk, that Joker's going to have fun, he's going to make some money. And so that's kind of what I saw him in, and I just, hitched my wagon to him. And, and there's people like Adam Katz that you're going to meet. And it's just what we're about, guys. So a little bit about me, just so you know who I am and what I'm talking about. Like I said, I am in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, but I was born and raised in Pittsburgh. So I left Pennsylvania when I was 22, moved down to the beach just because why not, right? And, I wanted to party, wanted to have fun, wanted to just kind of live that college life that I never had. So I did go to a community college, stayed with my parents. So when I had the opportunity to live at the beach for a summer, I literally jumped at it. And so, yeah, that was back in 2010. And, I've kind of always been a risk taker. And I, when I was younger, I didn't quite understand it, but I really think it's translated well to the business world and to entrepreneurship, is willing to bet on myself, willing to just sacrifice things that other people think are important, but they never really were for me. Things like Netflix, things like Instagram. And so, yeah, moved to Myrtle Beach, and that's where I met my wife, Miss Deanna. She's obviously not on this call, but you guys will meet her. And, from the very beginning, we were looking to do something. We were hustlers, right? It was, I hated the fact that I had to be at work when someone else said. And it just even working at McDonald's, like as a teenager, I just hated it. I hated that if I wasn't feeling good, I still had to go to work. I hated that if I wanted to go home, I couldn't, or they wouldn't pay me anymore. Right. I don't know. I just always despised the employee mindset, the job mentality, or not mentality, but the job parameters. And I was always somebody that I felt like I was working harder than all of my coworkers, but yet they were making more money than me just because of, the people they knew or how long they'd been there. So yeah, I just kind of learned quickly that the job route wasn't for me. And so hopped into a few different businesses, at 22, 23 years old. Probably the most successful one we had, and it wasn't that successful, we were in the restaurant business. So my wife and I, we had a pizzeria in actually North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Did that for about 5 years and learned a lot, but also struggled a lot. The best thing about that is it taught us to grow up. And we definitely, we didn't really make any money. We didn't really lose a lot of money either, but we did learn a lot. And we learned about business, we learned about taxes, we learned about being adults, right? And so, ultimately that business failed, and it was 100% on us, just because we didn't know any better. And being a small business owner, I'm not sure if any of you are small business owners. You literally got to do everything, from accounting to taxes to payroll to marketing, all of that, right? And if you don't know how to do it, you got to figure it out. And so that was us. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, great. I think.
Okay.
Yeah, we can hear you, Dan. Yeah,
okay.
We can hear you.
Robert, if you don't mind just muting yourself a little bit, I think we got your radio coming through.
Yeah, I turned it off.
Okay, yeah. Thank you. And so, yeah, so where I was at is we had a pizzeria for 5 years, shut it down, closed. At that time, we only had one child. We had a mortgage, and I didn't have a job. I had no money. And so I did like everyone else, and I went on ZipRecruiter. I went on Indeed. I went on Facebook. I went on Craigslist and just started applying for literally everything. And if they were willing to talk with me and give me an opportunity, I was willing to listen to the conversation. That's just where I was. And it's funny because this business is all about timing, because I had been approached before to do insurance, and I almost laughed it off. I almost just, I don't know, in my mind, I just thought it wasn't for me, thought I couldn't do it. I didn't see myself as somebody that could do sales. I didn't see myself as somebody who would enjoy interacting with strangers the way we do. But yeah, you know, I met Adam Katz. He's our agency manager, or actually executive vice president, but the owner of our agency, I'll put it that way. And just really fell in love with Adam and his family. And, you know, the first meeting I took was something just like this, right? So I was right where you guys are back in 2018, seeing this for the first time. And I was so naive and just so anxious to do something that it's almost a blessing in disguise, because I had no idea what we were doing. I had no idea what they were talking about. I had no idea what this opportunity even was, but I fell in love with the people, you know, specifically Adam and his wife, Beth, and just knew that whatever they were doing, I wanted to be a part of it. And one of my downfalls in the beginning, and I think it's because we had lost the business and just, you know, confidence and everything was just an all-time low. I never really thought that I would have the same success that Adam was having. I didn't believe that it could happen for me. And why I bring that up is because, you know, it's something I really had to work on, and I'm still working on to this day. I encourage everyone on this call, do not have that attitude. It's, if you want it, this business will give it to you, right? Do not have any self-limiting beliefs of, oh, I'm too young, I'm too old, I don't know enough people, I'm not good with people. I'm shy, I'm not pushy. All these things that you think what we do, we don't do any of them, right? So just, I encourage you, try to get past those self-limiting beliefs, because they're just slowing you down. And truthfully, they slowed me down for years until I was able to break free from them. So yeah, that's a little bit about my story. I just wanted to share that with you. And so, yeah, let me kind of just take the next 15, 20 minutes and talk about, hey, who exactly we are, what do we do, how we do it, and just see if it's, you know, if it's a good fit for you guys. If anyone has questions, I do see everyone on my screen. So if anyone has questions, feel free to unmute or raise your hand or even put it in the chat. But, you know, the first thing is, what is the Alliance?
Simply, I just logged on. I wanted to, and I'm kind of new.
Yes.
So I wanted to hear you out a little bit, and then I'll react to.
Yeah. Absolutely. And you know, I'm all about full transparency. So anything, if you want to dive deeper into anything, pause me. We'll slow down and get all your questions answered. Okay.
Okay. Then.
Okay.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
So what is the Alliance? And quite simply, we're a brokerage, so we're an insurance brokerage, and we've partnered with about 40 different insurance companies. And so you can see on the screen there, I listed some of our favorite ones, but there are other ones that, you know, we like, but we just don't use as much, just because you know, maybe they're niche products, or they don't fit our clients as well as these ones. But it's companies like Mutual of Omaha, it's companies, you know, CVS, the drugstore, Transamerica, and basically, they have a whole portfolio. Each one of them have a portfolio of products. They're really, really good at creating products, but they're not very good at bringing those products to market. And what I mean by that is, you know, they're numbers people. And well, I'll put it this way. They found that it's better for their bottom line than to, instead of spending all this money on advertising, instead of spending all this money on hiring and training, they would rather allocate all that money to us to find clients for them, right? So if you look at the picture where I'm in front of, That's Jake Joseph. He's one of our managers here at the Alliance. And that's a picture of him actually helping clients out this past week. And so, I guess in essence, what we do is we take those insurance companies' products and we bring them to the clients. And we will get into it a little bit later about how we actually get the clients and whatnot. But that is basically what we do, right? We're going to sit down with these clients and just have a conversation, treat them like humans. We're not really trying to, high pressure sales them. That's not what we do. We're more like consultants. We're more like problem solving. So if you have the fear of you're not salesy, you're not pushy, understand neither am I, neither is Mercedes. It's just not how we operate. And so, yeah, we've got these companies, and then what we really have is a system. And so what I mean by that is, and when I go to the next slide here, okay, I'm gonna back up. You might be asking, well, what products do we actually help these clients with, right? I know I said it's insurance, but mainly we're doing life insurance, annuities, and Medicare. And so we've got subsets of, all those markets, but those are the three main products that we're working with. And so, the opportunity is everyone goes through these life events. So the first picture there, when people buy a home, the house instantly becomes their biggest debt, their biggest bill. And for most Americans, especially if they're both working parents, if one of them, or even if the breadwinner were to die, they would not be able to afford to stay in that house, right? So purchasing a home and adding on that new debt is one of the main catalysts for somebody wanting to buy insurance. So we've got products that are specifically designed to pay off a mortgage. Another one's when people get married, and it's same concept. If somebody dies, they obviously don't, your income gets cut in half. So we have policies that are designed to replace income. Having a baby, right? So I'm not sure, how many of you have kids. I've got 2 kids, and as soon as you have kids, your whole life changes, right? Now it's not just about you. Now it's about those little humans that you're responsible for. And so that's another time in people's life where they just really start thinking about, hey, financially, we should do something just in case, right? As people get older and they retire. So for most Americans, think about it. They've got their life insurance at the job. They've got their health insurance at the job. They've got their retirement at the job. But whenever they leave, they now lose that life insurance. They lose the health insurance. And they now have full access to all, their 401k or their 403b, and they just don't know what to do with it. They've never managed it. Most Americans have never even spoke to the actual person that manages their money, right? And so that's where we come into play. We set them up on their own life insurance. We get them into a Medicare plan, and then we get put a program on their retirement that just guarantees they don't outlive their retirement, right? So we preserve and help them. So, obviously I mentioned the Medicare. Yeah. What's the opportunity with Medicare? Every American by the age of 65 pretty much has to get on Medicare, right? So you just think of how many people over 65, they have to buy Medicare from somebody. It might as well be us. And then the last one where I'm at is obviously, and that's probably one of our biggest ones, is just final expenses. People that want to take care of their funeral, they want to, make sure everything's in place. That way their kids, their grandkids, even the spouse, that way they don't have to come up with the money and do a GoFundMe or anything like that. So our products are all designed, around just protecting families and ensuring and giving peace of mind. Okay. That is that's kind of the sales side opportunity. The other thing that we do, and this is more for our entrepreneurial side of people, is if you want to, you could actually basically franchise yourself out. So just like McDonald's, right? You're able to build an agency across the country. And so obviously when you're selling, you're going to get paid your full commissions, everything, when you sell a policy. But if you build an agency, you're going to get a piece of that every business that goes through your agency. And so if you think of like McDonald's, what they do is they have a system in place to make sure that every McDonald's duplicates what they want, right? So the corporate, they have their standards, and then they have a system that says, okay, and that's why every McDonald's pretty much looks exactly the same, right? The fry machine is in the same spot in every one of them, right? The cash registers in the same spot. The way they make the food, they have diagrams, they have systems in place just to make sure that duplication is the same, right? Because they want the same results, whether you're in Myrtle Beach where I'm at, or Jersey, where Mercedes is, or across the world, right? So we have those same systems in place that are just going to train and teach your agents, and obviously teach us as well. And I put State Farm up here as well because they're the ones that do that in our industry, right? They're the most well-known ones. So if you think of State Farm, they are doing what we do, but they just have brick and mortars, right? Well, we don't need brick and mortars because we're going to our clients. And so they're doing the same thing. They've got an insurance brokerage, and they're just duplicating. Every small town in the country has a State Farm. So that's, if you wanted to think of who we relate to most, I would say think of State Farm, but with just a much bigger product portfolio. So we're able to help out a lot more people. Okay. Moving on. How do you do it? Right. So I mentioned the system. I mentioned the training. We are massive on personal development, and we are 100% believers that you're not going to out earn your personal image. You're not gonna be more successful than you are internally, right? Your external's never gonna outgrow your internal. And so 100%, most of our trainings, we're going to be talking about how do we develop ourselves? How do we get better internally? And so that starts with reading books. And, the CEO and founder of our company, Andy Albright, he's literally written books on how to do our system, how to succeed in this industry. So, the first thing I'd recommend to anyone getting started is get your hands on at least one of these books and start reading it. And it's the first, I would recommend the 8 Steps to Success. We also do audios, we do training calls. So the actual material for you to get immersed in is unlimited. Okay. We also have an online university, right? And so you're going to get product specific training for every company, every product. I put these 2 videos on here: phone script basics, in-home presentation. These are 2 of the top producers in the country, telling you all their secrets, telling you exactly how they do it, telling you what words to say, when to say them, why to say them. All we have to do, just like McDonald's, is just copy and duplicate it, right? If we just do what the top guys are doing, we'll have the same results that they're having. Okay. How do we get our clients? So we use a lead system. And basically this is my favorite, but it's not the only variety we have. We call this a direct mail lead. And you can see that we send this letter or this postcard out to potential clients. And when I say potential clients, it goes back to that page where, the people that just bought a house or just had a baby or just got married, just turning 65, right? That is all public knowledge. And we're going to market directly to those people. And the ones who respond, and by responding, they take the lead, they fill it out, they mail it back. Those are the clients that we're actually working with. And what I love about the leads is they are very straightforward, right? It's, you now have access to 2023 state regulated life insurance programs. It says life insurance on the card, right? And read it. You're not going to see anything that says, fill this out, send it in for a chance to win a cruise, or, it says it's not government funds, right? Not government related. So the people that send this out, they know it's insurance. They know it's life insurance. I mean, they're putting their name, their age, their address, their phone number, right? And so Now, listen, are you going to get people that say they didn't know what it was? Yeah, right. People are crazy. We can't fix that. We can't eliminate that. And actually, I put this one up specifically because I sat with these clients today and actually helped them out with 2 policies, right? And so it's just these leads work. And, when I sat with them, one of the first questions is, hey, why did you guys send this in? What has me out here today? What are you concerned about? And the concern was they just got a house, right? And they had a 30-year mortgage, and the husband, he goes by Chip. His name's Aubrey, but they called him Chip. Chip was a retired firefighter, and he had some type of pension, and that goes away when he dies. And so the concern was if Chip died, literally Laura would not be able to stay in that house, right? So we helped get Chip covered with a $50,000 permanent insurance policy. Second. In that conversation, I also found out that Chip's parents both died from cancer. So cancer runs in his household or his family. And so I just mentioned that, hey, we might be able to help him out with that, and was able to do a cancer policy for $50,000 for him as well. Right. And so what's wild about it is all we're doing is just having conversations with folks. We're not, like I said before, I can't stress this enough. We are not hard pressing them. We are not, we're not being, no offense if any of you have done this, but we're not doing the used car salesman approach. It is literally quite the opposite of how can I help you today? Right. And yeah, so that's what the leads look like. Once you're in the appointment, we've got a ton of resources. So basically with the leads, what I forgot to mention, let me go back. We take these leads, we call them up, we book appointments. So you could I like to go to the client's house. You could also do it over the phone. It's whatever you prefer. In this instance, I booked an appointment, went to their house, sat at their kitchen table, helped them out with a policy. And once you're at the house, we've got all these resources to basically help you figure out what to even do or how they need help, right? So we have your financial picture. We call that the green sheet. That's basically the questions you need to be asking the clients. And we just fill it out as, it's our fact finder, right? Once we have that fact finder filled out and we know what the problem is, we know what we're trying to solve, then we have an online quoter that you quite literally just type in their medications, you type in their health conditions, you type in how much coverage you're looking for, and it does all the math and does everything for you, right? So you don't need to memorize anything. You just have all these at your fingertips. We also have a CRM, which is basically your book of business. And what's awesome about our CRM is it automatically imports all the client's data. You don't do any data entry in here. So you sell a policy, all their personal information gets put in, the policy number, your commissions, the company it's with, the face amount, everything gets put in. And so what's awesome about this is when it's your client's birthday, the CRM lets you know. When it's time for a policy review, it lets you know. When it's time for them, when they're turning 65 and you could get them on Medicare, it lets you know. This CRM is basically a virtual assistant. And every day you're going to have a tab that says these things need to be taken care of, right? Whether it's birthdays, whether it's, like I said, turning 65 or anniversaries or, people that didn't make a payment and we need to reach out to them to get their payment back, straightened out, all on here. You're going to have a lot of business tools as well. So it's going to track your numbers. It's going to, there's graphs, there's 4 months worth of, sales. And it's just all these metrics that you personally don't have to do, right? We have all the systems in place that just track all that for you, whether it's commissions or sales or applications, just all these business tools at your disposal. Okay, the commission structure. So this is our comp plan. Basically, starting comp is 55%, top is 140%. And so it's very aggressive, it's very easy, very quick, you'll move up. Especially the starting contract, you don't have to do much to get bumped up. basically, I don't know. You guys can you see my mouse or no? If I okay, never mind. Basically what this is the more volume you bring the companies, the more they're going to pay you, right? And so you start out at 55%, and once you do 2,500, you get bumped to 60, 3,500, 65. And you can kind of see that there. I won't go too deep into it because if you're not really knowing what you're looking at, it's very easy to lose people. On the next screen, I'll kind of describe a little bit more of how that works. But just know everything that you have to do to earn a promotion is laid out right here in front of you. So there's no guesswork. There's no politics to it. There's no end of year reviews and we say, you just missed it. No, you hit the numbers, you get the promotions, you earn more money. Okay, quite literally that simple. So how does the actual process work? And I kind of already talked about this already, but so there's the agent, you in the middle. What you actually do is you take those leads and you call the clients, which is Jane in this instance. So you call the client, let them know who you are, let them know why you're calling, ultimately book an appointment to go over this with her. And again, you could either do it in person, you could do it virtually, it's up to you. And so you sit down with her, you help her out, you get her you get her enrolled in one of our insurance products. She's going to send a check to Mutual of Omaha over there, right? So she sends the check to the insurance company. When the insurance company approves the policy, they're going to send money to you. So they send a policy to Jane, and then you get paid a commission, right? So it's pretty straightforward. On average, on the starting contract, you're going to make about $500 per application that you write. And as you move on, as you bring more business, your 55% contract's going to go to 75, 85, 95, and obviously then you start making about $900, $1,000 per policy you write. Okay, that's the selling side. The business side, which I talked about earlier, kind of being like the McDonald's or State Farm. How this actually works is everyone that you have on your agency, and again, this is for more of the entrepreneur people. This is the ones that are looking for some passive income. This is going to be okay. So basically, what you get as the agency owner is the difference between your contract level and your agent's contract level. And so for the first one, between you and Mary on the left side there, you can see that you've earned yourself up to a 95% contract just based on the volume that your agency is doing. You'd be at 95%. And you could see Mary, she did 30,000 this past month. And so based on her volume, she's at 85%. So that's what she would have earned that contract level. And basically that's not just Mary by herself, that's Mary and Mary's whole team. So her whole team did $30,000 of production. And just for reference, one application on average equals about $1,000 of premium production. So Mary, in this month, her whole organization, they did about 30 applications. And so basically, you 95% your contract minus Mary's of 85, that's a 10% spread. So you are going to get 10% of that 30,000, which in this scenario is 3,000. If we go to Joe, it's the same concept. Joe did 20,000, right? But you have a higher spread, which means you're more involved. You're helping Joe more out because he hasn't grown. He did 20,000. And again, they're all still getting their full commissions, but you could see you're getting 15% there. So you're still getting another 3,000. And then we got William over there. He's just a part-timer. So he does this once a week. He does about one policy a week or four policies a month. And you could see he's earned at his rate a 70% contract. And just to be clear, for the month, 70% of 4,000, that's, just under $3,000 a month. So he's doing pretty well part-time, but you're getting 25%. So 95 minus 4 or 70, 25%. That 25% of 4,000 is $1,000. And so basically, if you just add that up passively, just by you helping other people get started, quite literally, you just teaching them to do what you do, duplicate duplicate the system, you would be making $7,000 a month or $84,000 a year of passive income. That is all outside of what you personally did on this sales side, right? So
Excuse me.
yes.
Excuse me, Dan.
Yep.
Yes. I'm still at work, so I have to go. I will be keeping in contact with Mercedes. I
Yes.
thank you and I appreciate everything. And I'm definitely interested in you'll be seeing me on the team very soon.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you.
You have a good one.
You do. Bye. And then I, kind of want to just wrap up with, we have all these other resources, new agent guide, right? So if this is your first time checking us out, get your hands on the new agent guide. It's going to be a lot of what I had on this screen will be in there. You'll be able to kind of look at it at your own pace. We do trips. We do incentive trips. So this year we're qualifying to go to Alaska. And so it's going to be for you and a guest, all expenses paid. And so they'll fly you up to Seattle. They'll put you on the cruise ship. We have the unlimited drink package, so you won't pay for any of that stuff. And just all expense paid. 8 days, 7 nights in Alaska. That's going to be next year. So we're still qualifying for that now. And then the one thing is the insurance industry is one of the most regulated industries in the country. So you do need to have an insurance license. So on the left there are some of the partners that we work with. It's $49. And it's a 20-hour class. Takes most people a couple days, maybe a couple weeks, if you're busy. But yeah, that's what I got for you guys. I know this went a little longer than I anticipated. I apologize. So what I wanted to do, and then I'll open it up for some questions. But before that, I wanted to get Mercedes to say a few words. So, Mercedes she's been with us for a little bit, but she's still relatively new. And she comes from an insurance background already. And so Mercedes, if you don't mind, just kind of tell them what you think makes the Alliance a little bit different than everyone else, and what has you excited for the future.
Wow, Dan, thank you. That was an awesome presentation. I felt like I was a new person starting with the Alliance tonight, and I want to come join the team right now too. That was phenomenal. So thank you very much for the way that you explained everything and sharing your story. Thank you. That was really, really good. Boy, I met you, now it's going to be about a year. I met you at Breakthrough, September 2022 for the first time. And look where how far we've come in 1 year. It's just been a phenomenal experience. What makes the Alliance superb compared to some of the other companies I worked with is this is one of the things, this kind of presentation, this kind of explanation of the resources of the system, that there is a system that can be duplicated, that the success that others are having is attainable to everyone who does the work, who's really focused on getting it done. In other scenarios, I was really like trying to figure it out on my own and winging it and just struggling and not really understanding and not really knowing which direction to take. But with the Alliance, it's all laid out for you. If you just follow the system, you can succeed. I have those here. Everyone should get this. The 8 steps to success. And it's guaranteed. Andy Albright guarantees success if you follow the 8 steps of success. And I just started reading the Inside the Circle of You. Talk about personal development, mindset. I mean, it's just phenomenal information, phenomenal training. I can go on and on and on. I could be here another 2 hours talking about all the great things about the Alliance, the training, the mentoring, the relationships that we're building with each other, with the clients, the carriers, their products. It is just a phenomenal opportunity. So thank you for letting me share.
Right on. Well, thank you. Thank you. All right. So yeah, I mean, if anyone has any burning questions, like I said, I pride myself on being completely transparent. If there's anything that anybody wants to see or just has questions, fire away.
Well, let me start with being that I'm a novice in the industry, but I do know that people tend to look for the heavier weight names to become, because there's the tendency for people, oh, insurance, and I'm talking from the layman, so pardon me if I'm, but that's how I say it. So, but I was looking at the circle you gave about the partners. I know you mentioned about 40 partners, but when I looked at it, and in my head, I thought about the big names like the National, American, and all that. I don't know if I saw that, and I was wondering, is that you don't work with those guys, or?
Yeah. So good question. So a lot of the companies that you have heard of before, think of Allstate, State Farm I showed, the word they use is called captive. And what that means is if you work with State Farm, you can only sell State Farm products. So you're very limited to what you could offer. With us, we partner, and we're called independent, and we're able to work with as many insurance companies as we want. So it's just our belief that the more products, more companies we can bring to our clients, the better we can serve them. And so when you don't see the State Farms or the Allstates or, those types of guys, it's just because they only have their own employees. Basically, they're corporate, if that makes sense. So I hope that answered your question. If it did not, I can go into it.
No, that wasn't what I was alluding to. Maybe I didn't say it right. I was talking about the bigger insurance companies, not the bigger insurance, like that insurance companies. I didn't see the names on that list you showed.
Sure. So let me go to this. I'll go back to it. Okay. So we've got Mutual of Omaha, and Transamerica. I believe they are the top two largest insurance companies.
Okay, yes, the one I was saying American, that's pardon me again, like I said, that I'm not in that space very well. I'm coming into it. I meant Transamerican. I know that everybody I talk to tend to look at them as the big boy of the industry. I'm not saying they're the only one, but I'm just making a point. I wanted to make sure we have some heavy, but sometimes you need that, because a particular client may say, I want the product you're giving me to come from that, in the sense that that's where they're comfortable, but they believe these guys can never go down, and stuff like that.
Yeah, 100%. And if you actually look to the one that's above Transamerica, CVS, that's the actual pharmacy, the drugstore, CVS. So they have some insurance products that we offer as well. Of course, all of your clients are going to know CVS. But yeah, and you'll see, so like Mutual of Omaha, Transamerica, you're 100% right that you show clients those, and the credibility is through the roof, because like you said, those companies have been around for hundreds of years, that even if they don't trust you, they trust the companies, right?
Yeah, right. That's why I was looking for some of that, but because I didn't quite get it, I didn't even realize that's Transamerica there. But you've explained my issue. Yeah. Okay.
Sure.
Ben, I want to add something to the question and the response about the insurance company's name recognition. I have encountered, like you said, people want to be with a company that they recognize. I have had instances where they are determined, adamant, they don't want anything but Mutual of Omaha. It has to be Mutual of Omaha. But when I'm giving them the comparison, when I do the quote comparison, and another insurance company like Transamerica or Great Western can give them more coverage for less premium, they forget all that loyalty they have to Mutual of Omaha.
Okay.
So it depends. You have to be able to have that conversation with the person and really find out, is it really loyalty or is it the cost that's going to drive their decision? And if they really want Mutual of Omaha and they don't care about anything else, give them what they want.
Okay.
But as long as they know their options, they'll make a better choice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, you've explained the steps. I guess the key to this now for me, again being new, it's how to quickly work on getting my license. I've already made up my mind to be in the business, that's for sure. But I needed to understand how the journey is gonna go, because like I said, this wasn't my traditional. I'm a computer scientist, worked for IBM 16 years, retired. So went back to Africa where I was born, even though I'm an American. I grew up here. I came here from right after high school. So naturally, I'm looking at a new what would I call it now? Passion, something to do. And something keeps telling me I could, because for some reason, I'm an engineer that turned into being more on the business side of IBM. I became the country director of IBM for going back into Africa, because one of my top managers in IBM looked at me in different meetings and talking. He said, Steve, did you know you're a better salesman than you are an engineer? And I'm like, I didn't know that. I'm an engineer all my life, but if you say so. So he transitioned me on the business side of, in IBM is a big company. I don't know, those of you that know. So many people don't realize that, yes, you talk about all the computers, but they are the business people that are running the company, not those engineers. And you know what I mean? That come up with the products. And so I was on the product side, but they converted me to the business side of the company in my last few years in management. So I'm looking for that new game to play, and I think we can play this game. I just want to get my feet into it and understand. I'm in the Atlanta area. I'm in Kennesaw in Atlanta.
Okay, yeah. So Steve, what I'd recommend to you is, this business is just like standing on a diving board, right? And when you're looking down, you may be scared, you may not be scared, you may be hesitant, you may be thinking, I just want to get down. But it's one of those, as soon as you just jump in and just do it, everything becomes easier. And so what I'd recommend to you is just get around people, right? For me, it was always about getting outside of my own thoughts. My own thoughts never really produced any great success in my life. So it was other people's, it's why reading books and going to trainings and seminars. And, so I would just encourage you just to embrace the culture, get involved, go to meetings, be on calls like this. It really does make everything just so much easier for you. And because you use the right word, the passion. You can't teach passion. You're either going to catch it or you're not, right? So use that thought process to just catch the passion, and then just run with it and change lives and help your family and make some money and have some fun and make a difference. So yeah.
Thank you.
All right, guys. I don't want to keep everyone here all night. So any other questions? All right.
Well,
yeah.
For today, I think that's it from me.
Sure.
For today.
And hey, Steve, I'm going to put my number in the chat.
Okay.
If you ever need anything,
Yes.
I'm not sure whose team you're on, but it doesn't matter to me.
I'm seeing her walking around. That's who I'm on that team.
Okay.
Look at her. She's the one running around in the room there.
Well, anything you ever need.
You are on mute. You are on mute, Obi. You're on mute. You don't know. We're not hearing you. Your mouth is moving. On mute.
We can't hear you. Obi, you're on mute. We've seen her whole house. She has a beautiful house.
Yeah, she does.
But we can't hear her.
I think she must have walked away from her phone. So she's rushing back to go get the phone to unmute.
I think. That's okay.
Send her a text. Send her a text and tell her that she's on mute.
I think she knows. She might, because I know she's doing a lot of some higher end sales. Maybe she got a call from a client. Oh.
Yeah, unmute. Unmute yourself. We're not hearing you. Unmute yourself on your system.
But she can't hear you. Send her a text.
She's hearing me.
Write a note and show it in the camera.
We can't hear you.
Okay, let me go on the chat. Okay.
Write a note and show it in the camera.